of Nityananda Prabhu, within that glance, merciful glance, is everything and the gift of full Krishna consciousness. Just before I came here, the Chinese ladies, they're preparing flowers. Not that we know, but we could say, what do they know? Who is Nityananda? They were told, oh, Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day is coming, please. It's a very holy, auspicious day. You please come. And because they're simple-hearted souls, they say yes. When you say Sukriti, what is Sukriti? To say yes to the proposal of Krishna consciousness. How can you understand the infinite? You have to have a complete comprehension of the infinite before you can sign the contract and agree to serve? Or is it that the heart, primed by Sukriti, the proposal from the devotee agents, something comes and the person just says, yes, cannot estimate the length and breadth of the infinite. So they say yes on the way here. Then their little children, they're 3 years old, they come, say, oh, here's the agent, represent. They're bowing down, giving dandavats. So if you think about it, whatever their future may be, that in their childhood, on the appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu, they came before the deity, more than the deity. Giriraj Govardhan is, the deity is also, but Giriraj is Krishna, beginning, middle, and end. There's no installation for Govardhan Shila. It's Krishna. Part of the infinite is also infinite. So they came on that day, offered flowers, and without full comprehension, which is not possible, only by the grace. Actually, we're told how to understand the glories of Nityananda Prabhu, because we've been saying, well, I don't really know. Heard a few things here and there, there's some songs. We're told it's actually Mahaprabhu who reveals the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. Interestingly, it's really Krishna who reveals the glories of his devotees. And it's the devotees who give you a connection with Krishna. It's a very mysterious thing, because most religious consideration is that, there's God and everything else is occupying a secondary position. So as long as you're good with God, then everything else is negotiable. But Krishna conception is the opposite of that. You have to have some appreciation for the devotees of Krishna. Otherwise, your so-called Krishna conception is a hallucination or a fantasy. There's no real substance there. So you say, well, but isn't it Krishna ostensibly who attracts us initially? And we hear that in the prayer of Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Sakshat, to the Guru prayer. Sakshat Haritenasamaste Shastre Uktastataba Vyateva Sadbi. Saying all the scriptures are telling us Guru is Krishna's agent. It is Guru who's bringing us in connection with Krishna. Right? Then we said, well, want to find out Guru, and if we want some substantial Krishna connection. And then it says, Kintu Prabhu Priyevatasya Vande Guru Sri Charanam. But, so if this theory, Siddhantic, ontological, Gaudiya Siddhantic theory, has captured your attention, imagination, then when you look closer, whom you're going toward Krishna, then you will see that agent really is the one who is most dear to Krishna. Therefore it says, Prabhu Priya, like the name Krishna Priya. Priya means the beloved, the most dear to. Krishna Priya, Prabhu Priya, the same thing. And you say, oh, that must be some kind of name of Krishna. No, it's a name of Krishna's beloved, Srimati Radharani. So this shift is taking place. But then we can say, well then, so if I understand, then we want to go in the direction of Radha Krishna and through their agent Sri Guru. Right? But then what do we hear in the song of Narottam Thakur? Nitai Parakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala. What is the next one? Jagat. Then Heno Nitai Bine Bai Radha Krishna Paitenai. He's saying, Narottam, who wrote Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, who's everyone in the Gaudiya line is bowing to him. We're Bhakti Vinod Paribar, but before that it's called Narottam Paribar. He's that significant in the line, Narottam. Everyone bows to Narottam. And he's saying, without the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, there's no question of getting, having a substantial connection with Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Later on, it's on Nitai Koruna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. Korun of Nityananda. So that's giving Radha and Krishna. How is that? If we know even a little bit, we say, no, but Nityananda, he's ostensibly the greatest devotee of Gauranga. With bowing to Gadadhar Pandit, representing, the Shakti aspect, So Nityananda is the greatest devotee of Gauranga. What's this have to do with Radha and Krishna? Why do you need his mercy to go into the domain of Radha and Krishna? Right? Because of who Gauranga is. Who is Gauranga Mahaprabhu? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahayanya. Radha and Krishna combined. That's faint material to even conceive. Like, whoa. I mean, Krishna, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha. That Krishna who, one Cupid's driving the world mad, everybody. Anyone who denies that is a liar or is unaware. Doesn't understand what's moving us, why we're puppets, moving in this world, doing so many things. Right? That one Cupid, and then we're told here, wait, Kandarpa Koti, saying, can you imagine 10 million Cupids? To be honest, no. One is a handful for everyone, and you're saying that there's someone who has some kind of beauty and seductive charm and attraction, that the only way you could describe you'd have to use like Cupid as a factor of magnitude, and then take Cupid to the 10 millionth power to describe the seductive charm, beauty, and sweetness of this personality, not something abstract or impersonal or, a sunset, which are beautiful, no doubt. A person. It's just inconceivable. And then you think, well, how can you improve on that? You can't. Right? But as Krishna says revealed in the Charitamrita, it's not revealed really overtly anywhere else but Chaitanya Charitamrita. And remember, this is the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So this is where we put our focus. It's on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his descendants, Rups and Raghunaths and Krishnadas. And there he reveals, Krishna saying, so on the basis of what you just heard, you can understand why everyone's attracted to me. 10 million times more seductive and beautiful than Cupid. My aroma drives everyone in the creation mad. The sound of my name, you'll be angry that you only have 2 ears to capture the sound, or 1 tongue that tastes all these things. He's saying, but what about me? He's saying, who would I be attracted to? Someone how do you say, what's the word? Was, not compatible, but equivalent, but reciprocal. I can't think of the exact word, but who had qualities like mind, but the complement. In other words, qualities to an infinite magnitude, but the complement to the qualities that I have. Anything like, can we, after what we were just conceiving, can we now conceive of someone like that? And Krishna said, that is none other than my beloved Srimati Radharani. As you're all irresistibly drawn in attraction to me, herself included, I am irresistibly drawn in attraction to her. Her aroma, fragrance, her beauty, the sound of her name, everything. He said, in fact, so much so that when she's cursing me, it's so sweet, I can't concentrate on all these reverential prayers that everyone else is saying. Like, you're so great, and she's cursing Krishna, and he's saying, oh, that's irresistible. What are the Vedas saying? They're saying, but she's not saying I'm so great. Krishna's saying, that captures me. Then we think, well, that plane is so intimate. But who is Krishna's greatest advocate? Not only advocate, but like protector, Balaram. And the way Guru Maharaj put it, he said, like, as if it's a given, he said, if Gauranga is greater than Krishna, and you're going like, whoa, wait a minute, if you add Krishna and Radharani together, Hare Krishna, inconceivable. Like all of the 10 million times Cupid plus the one he's irresistibly drawn in, and then you put them into this one divine personality, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That's how we can say Gauranga greater than Krishna. He's saying then Nityananda must be greater than Baladev. And you go, well, this is a head scratcher. Like, how is that? He's saying, because in this way, not like a either or better, he's saying this way, because Nityananda wants to give Krishna Prem to everyone. That's his primary object of his descent. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa avatar. He's the mercy avatar. And we hear about so many different avatars and incarnations, but this should catch our attention. The mercy avatar. Maybe there's something there for us that's not apparent in the others. Right? He's distributing Krishna Prem. So in that sense, greater. And why? We're told, like when Mahaprabhu, he's in Puri, and we're talking about this, we got released from Advaita to now go in, he did his public service of distributing Krishna Prem and through Krishna Nam to everyone, and also his glance. Imagine when Mahaprabhu is, Ganga-like streams of premic tears coming from his eyes, and someone sees this and they get that. They enter into that kirtan. And that's what I'm saying in the beginning. Directly or indirectly, you get connected with this. Good fortune has come to you. So, Advaita is saying, right, now you've done your public service, that internal affair of yours, you're free. And then what he goes behind closed doors, Swarup Damodar Ramananda, because whatever he showed publicly was astonishing to begin with. Like, in one sense, they say, well, it's a Rath Yatra, it's public. But there's 3 rings of devotees around that because it's so astonishing what everyone is seeing. But you're only seeing according to your capacity. Nityananda sometimes will look over and see, not he's in the mood of Radharani, he's become Radharani. Imagine, he looks over and instead of seeing Gauranga, Mahaprabhu was he sees Radharani dancing in front of Jagannath. Radharani herself. And because Nityananda, all the 4 rasas, Shantadasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, he knows if he comes before Mahaprabhu, he'll come out of that and he'll reciprocate the love of Nityananda. So how merciful and kind and loving is he to keep some distance. You're saying, oh, he's in that zone? Not to interfere. Allow that to go on. He has so much love for Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So if we understand, so Mahaprabhu, all right, then I need to get connected with Mahaprabhu, that's it. And then through Mahaprabhu, I see he's Radha and Krishna combined. Otherwise, to enter Krishna Lila, forget it. It's impossible of impossible things. Krishna Lila Amrita Sar, Tar Shata Shatadar, mentioned at the conclusion of Madhya Lila, reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. Again, a fantasy, a hallucination, a delusion, if you think a new recruit is going to suddenly enter there because they've been chanting, mumbling some semblance of Krishna Nama on beads for a certain amount of years. Yadvanshana Sri Lalanat Charatapo, Vihaya Kamam Suchiram Vrata. Lakshmi Devi did austerities in the Tapovan for lifetimes to try and, so you're more qualified than Lakshmi Devi because you've been chanting some semblance of Krishna Nam for a certain amount of time. No. So when Guru Maharaj contemplated retirement, he said, as much as I'm inclined, humbly, he thought, no, this is the place for the highest section of liberated souls. We're told the non-liberated, or some will say by extent, the sinful, they can get their grace in Navadvip, and we'll come to that later. So, then you think, all right, and this Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and he's distributing that unattainable substance of Krishna Prem, in all directions. Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tasei Nama. Right? Oh, but then we hear that Mahaprabhu, he's telling you, you have to approach Nityananda Prabhu. And you say, I don't know the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. Guru Maharaj said, that's like not knowing who your mother is. Like it's that essential. It's not like optional or, you're saying it's like not knowing who your mother is. Right? Like mother of all devotion. Mother. And then we come to understand this point about it's told by Narottam Thakur, the one who's promoting the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari. Why is he suddenly saying all these things about Nityananda Prabhu? Right? Because he knows that is the pathway to that plane. But then if we finally understand, then I need the grace of Nityananda Prabhu to then get the connection of Gauranga, which yata gaura padara vinde vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi tatat tatot sarpati hridya kasmat radha padam boja sudambu rasi. That concentrate all your attention on the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, then subconsciously, unconsciously, deep within the core of your heart, Radha Padam, what is it? what is that called? Sudha, Radha Rasa Shuddha Nidhi begins to flow. Saying, but only people who are Sukritivan, Sumedasa, that's what it means. When we hear that verse, Krishna Varnam, Yajanti hi Sumedasa. This is a very refined thing to understand, to grasp. So it's being told, Guru Maharaj said, only those with refined theistic intellect will appreciate this. Do we think we are that? No. But the devotees of Mahaprabhu, right? If you want to say the most refined, who would it be? Tunga Vidya, Astasaki Tunga Vidya. She should know what the pathway is to Vrindavan and the inner recesses of Vrindavan. And this comes from her in her appearance as Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur to say these things. So then we know it's 100% certified, guaranteed, true pathway. Right? But back then we've come to the point, so then we need to appreciate the Nityananda Prabhu. Then how will we get that grace? Only revealed by Mahaprabhu. You can, as much as Nityananda Prabhu is taking the Gaurachandra, it is Gaurachandra Mahaprabhu who will allow you to appreciate his beloved Nitai. And we see that in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, written by the follower of Nityananda. I remember the first time I was reading that, and really, I'm just saying this in a limited context. I'm reading the book and I'm thinking, this is the Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's going to be all about Mahaprabhu. And I'm saying, this is like, it's all about Nityananda Prabhu. Like, when are we going to get to the part about Gauranga? But then I understand, he's building the foundation for your Gauranga conception. As Guru Maharaj will say, and we know where we're sitting right now, if you didn't have a strong foundation here, whatever you build on top of that, and the things you're building, it will fall over. You may build the most beautiful thing ever. If you didn't put the sincere and real, true amount of effort in the foundation, which nobody sees, it doesn't look pretty, although Nityananda is inconceivably beautiful, so there we depart. Koti Chandra Shushitala. So there we've surpassed this example. But it's got to be the basis, if any substantial Gauranga consciousness, Krishna consciousness is to be built upon that very thing. And so we hear that, and so we think, how much love Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu have for each other. Whatever we think is the greatest example of love that we've experienced in the world or life or literature or whatever, then we got to again go to that 10 million power of magnitude to understand how much love and affection, the very concept of love and affection and heart comes from them. It's not like that's our stuff and they're coming to it. It's the inverse. They're from the domain of heart. So how much, and the reason I say that is because then you think, well, Chaitanya Charitamritam says, second verse, Bande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gododiye Pushpavanto Chitra Sando Tamonudo. That Gaur and Nityananda rise simultaneously, like the sun and moon. If the sun and moon appeared at the same time, kind of in equal magnitude, in the land of Gauda and Bengal, illuminating everything and distributing this divine substance, but not in the same town. Right? Because from hearing that, you think, in Navadvip, Gauda, but again, how merciful is the Lord. The place that Raradesh, where on a certain level considered inauspicious because the Ganga doesn't flow there, or they say that place where the Ganga doesn't flow, the Pandavas didn't visit, and where the holy name may not be chanted, like that, that's where he appears. Right? It's technically Raradesh. Birachandrapur Ekachakra, in the house of Hadai Oja and his wife Padmavati. And like these children who came here today, they're so cute. It's just, your heart just melts seeing them, these little children who came today. But how cute and charming do you think Nityananda Prabhu was? And we're told Hadai Pandit would look at him 100 times a minute for fear that he might lose contact or become separated. 100 times a minute. You think, like, how could you do anything? But then you think, like, wow, that's so intense. Like, it's an uncontrolled heart that would exhibit that kind of behavior. And then, and what to speak of his mother, and then everybody in the village, they're all like that too. And then the kids who play with Nityananda Prabhu, like, how happy they are. And then what does he like to do? Because he's also Balaram. Play Krishna Leela, like, all the different pastimes. And he tells the boy, like, which part you'll play, and then they're all like the way children, and we all did, But that sort of childlike fantasy, and how beautiful it is, the Prakrita Leela, like, that it can be there. But just imagine, in the case of Nityananda Prabhu, this is not child's play. His child's play is not child's play. So, and one of the pastimes, like he'll say, today we're doing Ram Leela. I'll be Lakshman. Sometimes he's Ram. And he gets shot by the Indrajit weapon, and that's where Lakshman almost leaves the world, and Ramachandra, it's a whole very moving heart, moving part of the Ramayana. But like that, till up to the age of, I think, 12 or so. And then we're told the sannyasi visits, and sannyasis, they don't have to do all the things the grihastas have to do, because they're sannyasis. So that's why they can stop at a house, be given meals, different things. The grihastas are doing different types of sacrifices and sanskars and things like that are required. It's not required for the sannyasis. So they can just ask for things. And as I said to Gurudev, I said, some say that the sannyasi was Madhavendra Puri, because it'll say sannyasi Sundar, a very beautiful sannyasi, sannyasi Bora, like a really big, big time sannyasi. But I said, so some say it was Madhavendra Puri. And Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj turned to me and goes, some say it is Madhavendra Puri. Like, that's the definitive answer. And I thought, that's interesting. The definitive answer is that some say. But he, after staying one night, they don't stay 2 or 3 to prevent like attachment developing for even a particular grihastha family. And that sannyasi says to Hadai Pandit, I was thinking of going on Tirtha Jatra, visit the holy places, and I don't have a Brahmin assistant, and I'm thinking, your eldest son, give him to me. Eldest son is Nityananda Prabhu. And it's like, being kicked in the stomach, that we're told, sometimes Hadai Pandit would embrace Nityananda Prabhu for hours, and it appeared as though he merged into Hadai Pandit, and that Hadai Pandit was the body, and Nityananda Prabhu was like the soul of that body, the pran, the life air. That's how. And now he's saying, your eldest son, I would like him to accompany me. And this is going to kill Hadai Pandit. He tells his wife, Padmavati, Nityananda Prabhu's mother, and she says, Prabhu, whatever you decide. And Hadai Pandit is saying, like, if I deny this sannyasi monk, then only inauspiciousness will come in my life. So regretfully, he agrees. And we're told Hadai Pandit he was like a statue for 3 months in separation. And he did not eat for 3 months. Somehow his body was kept alive. And when you visit Birachandrapur Ekachakra, there's this one pond, and it's called Hadai Kunda, and it said that pond is from the tears of Hadai Pandit, that he cried in separation from Nityananda Prabhu. Today, there's a pond that still exists there. So it's just, again, beyond what we can properly conceive. But if it awakens even the remotest sympathy on our part, that is good for us. That is good for us. And that Nityananda, with those sannyasis, traveling around all these holy places of India, Punya Bhumi. When I used to travel around India, we had these 4 books in our van that were like all the holy places of India. And wherever we were going, we'd like open up the book and see, is there anything? There's always something. Like, it's just unbelievable. Because we know some of the major places, every inch of that soil, some divine thing happened there at one time or another. We would really, we were just astonished. We'd look in the book. It didn't matter where we were traveling. There was a holy place there. Of varying degrees, but still. So he visits all these places. I believe goes to Puri, sees Jagannath, and gets the inspiration to go to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he reverts to like being a child of the Krishna Balaram days. And people see him playing like a child, rolling around in the sand and just behaving like a little kid and astonishing everyone, experiencing different states of ecstasy. But what he's doing is, in a sense, you could say biding his time, although what does that mean when it's Nityananda? But he wants to be with Gauranga. Remember, what sort of love they have? How can they be, as happy as Nimai Pandit is in Navadvip? Still, his only real unhappiness is when he thinks about, my brother. Where is he? How can I be here, happy with everyone, and he's not here? So he is also restless, eager. When will that time come? And others, as we told, Pundarik Vidyanidhi here, that like Guru Maharaj once said, it's like hide and seek. That game where the children hide and then you discover where somebody is. So he's saying, when they descend, the great devotees from Krishna Lila descend in Gaur Lila, they don't, by the influence of Yoga Maya, they don't recognize each other immediately. And they're not mirror images of their divine forms of Goloka Vrindavan. So how do they recognize one another? But by devotional tendency and expression. In other words, by heart. So when someone shows a particular level of Krishna Bhakti, then they go, oh, I know who you are, like that. So, Nimai Pandit always waiting, and perhaps Nityananda was, Guru Maharaj is 32 at the time, Nimai Pandit in his early 20s. He tells the devotees one day that, like, I had a dream last night, and one very extraordinary, great person, divine personality, was riding on a chariot furiously with the palm tree sign, which is the sign of Balaram. And he was coming, in this direction, and he came to town and he was asking her, is this the house of Nimai Pandit? And Saraswati Thakur says in the purport, he says that apparently in Vrindavan he learned Hindi. So he was saying in Hindi, is this the house of Nimai Pandit? Which should give some delight to our Hindi brothers and sisters, Hindi-speaking brothers and sisters. That Balaram was, Nityananda was speaking in Hindi and repeatedly saying, is this the house of Nimai Pandit? And he said, but wearing these beautiful blue garments, and he was carrying a plow and a water pot, and he said, I asked him, oh, great, who are you? And he said, I am your brother, and we will meet tomorrow. And so he awake from that dream and tell all the devotees, please find him. This great personality is somewhere here in Navadvip, so please find him. And he sends Haridas Thakur and Srivas Thakur to find him. And they cannot find him. They look everywhere. And just as your mind is sort of beginning to think about that, Vrindavan Das Thakur writes, of course Srivas Thakur can find, but it's a play, so they cannot. Of course he can recognize him. But because there's something meant to be taught here. So they come back and tell Nimai Pandit, we've searched everywhere, cannot find him. And rather than express, upset, or Nimai Pandit starts to smile and says basically, then follow me, I'll show you where he is. And then we understand, Vrindavan Das Thakur said, the point he wanted to make is, Mahaprabhu reveals the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. By the grace of Mahaprabhu, you can understand who Nityananda is. Otherwise, you cannot find him on your own, if you were thinking like that. He will reveal Nityananda. As Nityananda will reveal him, he will reveal Nityananda. And he takes everyone to the house of Nandanacharya, which we should say incidentally, that's the place Guru Maharaj indicated for Srila Puri Maharaj for his mat. His is next to Goswami Maharaj, the Nandan Bhavan. That's where he put his mat. And we visit there on the parikrama every year. So so it's the house of Nandanacharya. Nityananda's come there, and he wants to see Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Gauranga Nimai Pandit, he comes with his devotees. They still don't know who Nityananda is, right? If you're following this, Mahaprabhu is going to reveal who is Nityananda. So, when the two see each other, Nityananda is just in a trance, seeing the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And all the devotees are just looking at him, at his reaction to seeing Gauranga, and that's what's astonishing them. They're looking at Nityananda saying, look how it looks like he's like drinking the beauty of Gauranga, like he's licking the beauty and relishing that, and like all of his senses are having a feast upon the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Who is this person? And Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, they're just staring at each other. It's so beautiful. But then Mahaprabhu realizes, like, they don't know who this is. And remember, the hide and seek, it's like blinded by Yoga Maya. So he wants to reveal who he is. So he turns to Srivas Thakur and just gives some indication, like a sloka. Quote a sloka, Srivas. That's why these slokas are, real time, live streaming Nitya Leela. They're not passive. Because then people, why so much about the slokas? They're real time, live streaming Leela is what they are. I say, well, I heard it and I didn't see it that well. That is a misfortune. But if we're fortunate, by the grace of our Guru Varga, from time to time, some little insight may come there, and then we'll appreciate that by the grace of the higher Vaishnavas. So that's why, if he wants to, he could just tell everyone. Why is his method to tell Srivas? And how does Srivas know what to say? As Vrindavan said before, like, he knows actually. And what does Srivas Thakur say? He says, Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Barhapidam Natabara Bapu Karneo Karnikaram, Bibrat Basa Kanaka Kapisam, Bhai Jayantim Chamalam, Randran Venur Udhaya Sudhaya Puran, Gopa Vrinde, Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. This is Gopi vision. It's one of the slokas that's from their point of view, which is interesting. Right? What they see, they're on their verandas, balconies, and everything. Every day when Krishna and Balaram come with their cowherd boys, it's like trying to pull away from the heart of Yashoda. We're told sometimes they have to do this like again and again and again every morning, because it's heartbreaking for Yashoda, for Krishna, to go to the Vrindavan forest and do what he does every day. She faints, they have to bring him back, they do it, So when it's finally done, and then the gopis are there, and this is from what they see. Barhapidam, the person who has the peacock feather, right? Narabara, what does he look like? Like a movie star. That way, we see, when you see them, the way they move, and you go, wow, they're just so perfect. They're in a never-ending state of beauty and ecstasy. And, they're not actually. He is. But Narabara, Barhapidam Narabara, Karneo Karnikaram, and he got these flowers decorating his ears. Bibrat Basa Kanaka Kapisam Bhai Jayanti, the Bhai Jayanti garland, all these different forest flowers, Vrindavan forest flowers, like, look at these. How beautiful they are. Then Venu, Bibrat Basa, Kanaka Kapisam, about his dress, how beautiful his garments look. And then Adhara Sudha, it means his lips, playing the flute. And like the flute, the nectar from the lips comes into the flute. And then it's like, it's creating a nectar shower in the environment. Like everyone realizes the sound of Krishna's flute, it's nectar from the lips of Krishna transformed into this divine sound, like showering, and everyone's bathing in this nectarine substance. Gopa Vrinde, that means with the Gopa Vrinda. surrounded by all these cowherd boys who are singing and dancing to the sound of Krishna's flute. And while he's doing that, it says, Brindaranya Swapada Ramanam, his lotus feet, he's also dancing. They're touching the earth. But the earth is a lady who's fully conscious, divine being. And the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna, it says, Ramanam, Guru Maharaj said, she's shivering in conjugal ecstasy at the touch of the lotus feet. Like, how many things are going on in this event? Swapada Ramanam, Pravishad Gita Kirti. Saying, like, as he enters the forest of Vrindavan, singing, dancing, like, this is like one eternal moment in Goloka Vrindavan. That's what Srivas Thakur sings. And Nityananda Prabhu just faints. He completely enters into that plane, falls on the ground, fainted. Just from this one verse of Srivas Thakur about, and because who, the Gopa Vrinde, means Krishna and Balaram. And all those devotees, then they're going, this is Balaram. Oh my God, this is Balaram, of Krishna and Balaram. Yeah. And when that happens, then in that fainted position, then Gauranga Mahaprabhu takes Nityananda Prabhu on his lap. Very lovingly, so he's got the head of Nityananda Prabhu is on his lap. And he tells Srivas, chant some more. So he chants more verse, and then it's like bringing him back to this plane. And Gadadhar Pandit is watching this. Remember who is Radharani? And starts smiling a little bit, like to himself, saying like, look what happened to Ananta Shesh. Why is it? Because as we hear in Charitamritam, like when I was talking about this love of Balaram Nityananda for Krishna, Mahaprabhu, like in this world, when someone's madly in the throes of romantic love, and they're saying like, I want to be the ground beneath your feet, the chair that you sit, the clothes that decorate your body, the ring on your, like these kind of things. And it's understandable. But Balaram, he realizes these things. Nityananda is the chair of Nimai Pandit, the ground, the clothes, the ornaments. Therefore, Ananta. Ananta Shesh means he has unlimited service aspirations to serve in every capacity imaginable, right? Or unimaginable, as the case may be. That he does. So he's normally the bed, Sheshayi. Like we see, there's Vishnu lying on the serpent bed of Ananta Shesh. Right? Or you see these Buddhas, they're lying, But now, who's normally the bed is lying on the lap of Gauranga. So normally we say devotion defeats the Lord. And Gadadhar is just kind of grinning and smiling to himself, saying like, look what happened to Ananta Shesh. Now the reverse is taken. Look, the Lord is now the bed for the devotee. How much love he has. And others are speculating to what they're saying. Have we seen love like this since Ram and Lakshman? Which is appropriate. And we're told, what happened? Remember those pastimes? That Lakshman got shot by the arrow of Indrajit? And he's lying there dying, in the lap of Ramachandra. And here it says, Krishna Unmada, Krishna Prem, Krishna Unmada, Ananda. Like, it's the Krishna madness ecstasy, if you just took each word at face value. And it's saying, and what happened? Nityananda, he was shot in the heart by the arrow of Krishna Prem, or we say Gaur Prem. That's why he's in this condition. He got shot in the heart with a pramic arrow, and that's incapacitated him. He awakens on the lap of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and that way all the devotees understand who is Nityananda. And we know, like he stays at the house of Srivas Thakur, but he considers Srivas Thakur his father and his wife Malini his mother. So Nityananda is like a child. So sometimes he, by his mercy, her breast filled with breast milk, Nityananda sits on her lap and he's drinking her breast milk like a baby, although he is fully grown. And we're told other times, like, he's standing there like they do a naked child. We've seen that in India. The real little kids are just naked, like they put like one strand of like leather around their waist or like a shoestring, You've seen that? So Nityananda, he's like that, except he's not a child. Sometimes he appears like that at the house of Srivas and Malini. And Mahaprabhu thinks, he looks at the devotees and they're like, and then he thinks, oh, okay, like this is too much for them to digest, like Gurudev was saying. So then Mahaprabhu will take some cloth and drape it around Nityananda Prabhu. And then he's saying, oh, maybe they still don't get the idea. Then he's saying like, Nitai, give me your kopeen. That means like your underwear. And then Mahaprabhu takes it and he tears it into pieces. He says, wear this around your arm as an amulet, kavacha, on your arm or your neck, and you will get sense control. In other words, seeing that they're thinking something else is going on here. He's saying, no, if you get a piece of cloth that touched his divine form, your senses you'll be able to control. How good it will be for you. So then you think, like, what are the qualifications of someone to participate in these pastimes? But so, Mahaprabhu is so, how do you say, captured by the love and affection of Nityananda Prabhu. He says, in one place, he said, if you have Vishnu Bhakti, and you commit aparad toward Nityananda, you'll lose everything. You'll go down. I don't care who you are, what you have. Vishnu Bhakti, you're not talking about, if you have Vishnu Bhakti and you make aparad toward Nityananda, you're finished. That's the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and he said, if you see Nityananda go into a whorehouse and come out with a prostitute and a bottle of wine, give your dandavats. You're like, well, that might be hard. Like he's saying, it doesn't touch him. He just liberated a bunch of people. So it's like he keeps pushing it, ratcheting it up, like, and then you're saying, well, how could I possibly accept that unless what he's saying is true? Then he must have been there to liberate that group. Nothing, and to what level can he serve? We're told, as Balaram, when in Vrindavan they're feeling so much separation from Krishna, he, in the absence of Krishna, performs Rasa Leela with Braja Gopis. Sanatana Goswami Prabhu says, although these are the ultimate amorous pastimes, he said, Nityananda Prabhu, Balaram, from within his heart, it is an offering to Krishna. Right? That's according to Sanatana Goswami Prabhu. So then we go, whoa, how qualified someone must be to enter into those pastimes. So, to conclude, the two people I know, well, three most, have the greatest appreciation for Nityananda Prabhu are His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Om Vishnupad Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami. We know Srila Prabhupada, Gaur Nitai deities all over the world, everywhere he went, Gaur Nityananda. I don't think it's an accident. Neither does Guru Maharaj. His deities in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram, in the center. Not on the side, in the center. Radha Shyama Sundar, Lalita Vishaka on the side, Gaur Nityananda again on the side, But Krishna Balaram, center. Srila Govinda Maharaj would say, talk about like the breakfast of Nityananda Prabhu. Saying, oh, he likes, muri with fried eggplant. And I was saying, like, Maharaj, how do you know that? I can't find that anywhere. But he also said, everyone knows Guru Maharaj is Rupa Goswami's man. Woo. Meaning, so many living entities want to come and participate. So, meaning, like Saraswati Thakur turns to Guru Maharaj, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada from his mystic power transmission of the Rupa Nuga line. Again, why must it always come back to Nityananda? He's saying, so if he's Rupa Goswami's man, why is he always saying, Dial Nitai, Dial Nitai, Dial Nitai, praying for the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? Back to him. Strong foundation. The foundation. If it has no connection with Nityananda Prabhu, not real. Going to tip over, fall down in time. May look, you can build something big for a long time. We'll go down. And Guru Maharaj would say, when we speak of Krishna consciousness, sometimes people say, and it's true, oh, that's so high. Or, yeah, Krishna consciousness, even the least aspect of it is higher than anything else. So it's high for starters, and then it just goes higher. And sometimes very high, like some of the things we've said here today, I can't even imagine how they're being expressed, except by the grace of our Guru Varga and momentary glimpses of that. And so Guru Maharaj said, so when talking about such great personalities, and some high things will be said, and maybe we committed an offense in our attempts to represent this properly. He's saying, then if I take the name of Nityananda, Dial Nitai, Dial Nitai, Dial Nitai, he said, then I will be reinstated in my former safe position. That's why. So, on this day, the appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, as Mahaprabhu would say, if you can even remotely get a connection with the glance of Nityananda Prabhu, who fainted upon hearing that verse from Srivas Thakur, with his Gaur Prem, his Krishna Prem, then how fortunate we are, and to sing his holy name, whether we, as we told, no offenses by taking the name Nityananda or Nitai. Right? Radharani doesn't tolerate any offenses in devotion to Krishna. Airtight. It just, there's no room for offenses in that plane, on any level. Right? Then we say, well, then Gaur Nityananda, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, the ultimate merciful person, Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar, who's so intoxicated with Krishna Prem that in the madness of his intoxication, he overlooks who's high, low, qualified, unqualified. He just wants to share this intoxicating substance with everyone. So, I'd like to conclude. I know it's already been sung, but to sing once again the so-called Mana Shiksha of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, the song that begins with Nitai Padakamala. Sri Nityananda Trayodasi ki jai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Avirbhav Mahamahotsava ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chanda Shushitala. Nitai Pada Kamala Jai Chaya Jagata Jurai. Eno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paite Nai. Drida Kori Doro Nitai Rapai. Se sambandha nahi jar, Brita janma gelo tar. Sei pashu boro durachar. Nitai na bolilo muke, majilo sansara suke. Nitai na bolilo muke, majilo sansara suke. Vidya kule ki kori beta. Vidya kule ki kori beta. Ahankare matta hoya, nitai pada pasariya. Ahankare matta hoya, nitai pada pasariya. Asatyere satya kori mani. Nitai re koruna habe, Braje Radha Krishna pave. Nitai re koruna habe, Braje Radha Krishna pave. Garo Nitai charana dukani. Nitai re chorono satya, tanhara sevaka nitya. Nitai re chorono satya, tanhara sevaka nitya. Nitai pada sada koro asha. Nitai pada sada koro Narottama boro duki, Nitai more koro suki. Narottama boro duki, Nitai more koro suki. Rakoranga charanera pa. Rakoranga charanera pa. Nityananda Trayodashi ki jai. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Avirbhav Mahamahotavati ki jai. No Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Charja Asatara Satta Shri Srimad Srila Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu ki jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadip Dham ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Sri Ekachakra Dham ki jai. Sri Hadaya Pandit ki jai. Sri Padmavati Devi ki jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Brinda ki jai. Om Vishnupad Vishpa Virendra Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Sri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai. Jai Sriman Paramananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Srimati Krishna Priya Devi Dasi ki jai. Sri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi ki jai. Seva Vrinda ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. And I forgot to mention that when Srila Guru, talking about establishing a strong foundation, that when Srila Guru Maharaj, to establish Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, he went to Ekachakra, to the Nitai Bari, the house of Nityananda Prabhu. And there was that deity, you see. And I remember Gurudev in his final days on his veranda. Out of the corner of my vision, I thought it was like the deity of Vishnu Priya. And Gurudev said to me, he said, no, Maharaj, he said, that is Nityananda Prabhu. And he said, and I am telling you, you will never see a more beautiful Nityananda Prabhu. And then I looked again at the picture. And maybe I was not showing as much appreciation as expected. And Gurudev implored me, he said, no, I'm telling you, you will never see a more beautiful Nityananda Prabhu than there. And that's, where Nityananda Prabhu appeared. And it's before that deity that Srila Guru Maharaj arrived at the train station, hired a bullock cart, put his things on the bullock cart, but walked by foot, barefoot, to the place of Nityananda Prabhu and fell before the deity of Nitai, saying, you are the Dhameswar of Navadip Dham, you give entrance in the Navadip Dham. So, and you are Patita Pavana, you give shelter to the most fallen. So I am seeking your mercy and your shelter. You are Patita Pavana, please. I am Patita, fallen, be merciful to me. And at that time the inspiration came, the Guru Maharaj, but you're not giving Patita shelter, because Guru Maharaj was hesitating to initiate, accept disciples and initiate. So then he understood that if he will now take up this service of connecting others, then you can, and where does he go? To the Aparad Bhanjanera Pat, the place where all the offenders are forgiven their offenses. So how perfectly his Siddhantic, heartfelt Siddhantic calculations are. And it's there in that place that he established Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat on the foundation of the grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande.